So for this, you're gonna want a couple of base colors. So because we're doing some darker colors, I chose 3 of each. 3 blues and 3 orangish, reddish, brownish kind of colors for the orange side. So any acrylic paint will work, or I mean, whatever. Any paint, just color. Inks, if you don't have paint, use inks. If you don't have inks, use paint. It won't matter. As long as you can get some color for that glitter to be over, you'll be golden. And you're probably going to want some white or a really, really light color in there. So I'm going to use some white. I'm just going to use probably 2 different sizes of brushes. They're just straight brushes there. And we're going to need some scratch paper. I use kids' homework. And let's see what else we're going to need. Got our paints. Got that. Some water to rinse your paintbrushes in if you're using the same one. Some paper towels to dab it off. And we're going to see if I can redo this cup. So for our moon, what I did was I just took a piece of paper and I cut out a circle. I actually used the bottom of this. So find something that is close to the size, cut yourself a circle, okay? And then I use a yellow highlighter. Okay, yellow highlighter, white cup. We got our circle ready, and let's go ahead and get this started. I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time because people can watch the replay. Okay, so keep in mind the bottom of your moon is about this much of it is going to be covered because we have the shadow of the grass that's going to come up and down. So this part of the moon is not going to show too much. So that'll give you a little bit more room for your reflection of the water. So let's go ahead and we're going to trace our moon here. Okay, simple. Now, my paint's still sticky, so my paper's sticking. Okay, so here we have our moon. And now down here, I'm just gonna kind of give myself a little visual with my highlighter of, can you stop doing that, please? Stop. That's going to have kind of where I want it dark and then light and then to come in. So I'm just kind of giving myself a little visual there so that when I'm glittering, I kind of have that focal point for myself. But that may have been off. That is off because I can't.
Hi.
Okay, so I fixed it because doing it backwards was not my friend. All right, so next thing we're going to do is, we're going to start with coloring the outside of our, I know this is really hard for you guys to see, or at least I think it is. We're going to start with our brown. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to fold it in half so I can mark out where my moon is in half. And because the first one I did, I went ahead and I did, like, I haven't, my inspiration photo. So I also kind of went in and just did a little bit of, don't forget to leave this part kind of white. So I did that on the first one, but being as I'm kind of okay, I've done it once before, I kind of know somewhat of what I'm doing. Somewhat, not a lot, but somewhat. Okay, so we have the middle of our moon marked out. And we have our edges. So we're going to start with, our medium to dark color. So for my orange one, I'm going to use this kind of dark burnty orange color. I think my light is just in a weird angle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get some paint ready. Why?
Are these Arctic paint?
These are acrylic paints.
All right, for this part, we're just going to go in with our darker color and we're going to go right around the outside of our moon. I'm just kind of doing a couple of dabs to give myself a guide so you guys could see it on camera a little bit better. And then I just put my paintbrush flat against the outside and I just pull it out just a little bit to kind of give it a little bit of a fan out. And I do that along the entire side with our orange side.
All right, so we have our dark orange color on one side, and now we're going to go ahead and go over here to the blue, and we're going to do this side. We're going to take our dark color acrylic paint, and we're going to do the same thing. Same thing, we're just going to put a little bit on the end of our brush, and we're going to go along our circle, and we're going to push and drag all along the whole thing. Okay. So here is our blue and here is our orange. So that's what we have for now. Now that we have those two colors, we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the rest of our outside. So if you look at our inspiration picture, the color is going to continue a little bit and then we kind of go in with some darker. So I'm going to start with my medium blue. We're going to go in with our other blue colors and we're just going to, this one's got a little bit lighter, so we're going to go ahead and come over here into our water, and I'm just going to kind of do it like that because remember we're going to want some light color in there. So this is all just for our glitter not to have white. So we're just going to pull out this color we have here, and I've got some dark mixed in with my light blue, and that's all right, it's not going to matter. We're just going to pull it out. All right, so once I kind of need to keep an eye on I should have marked this out. I'm just going to do a couple dots of blue for my halfway mark. Is that halfway? Yeah, that's about halfway. Okay, so here we have what's going on there. And I'm going to come in to the other side and we're gonna do some more of the dark and medium. Rinse my brush. The dark and the medium orange. Once again, these are just acrylic paints. Any acrylic paint will work, or even alcohol inks will work. Just something to cover up your white. I base paint pretty much everything in white, even if I'm going to cover it up with another color, because I think it just gives me a lot of, just makes my colors more vibrant. Okay, so down here we're going to do the same thing we did over there with the blue, and we're just going to kind of throw that in there all wonky. Going with our dark, and we're just going to bring this out like so. Okay, so we have our light color down here and our light blue down here, and we got our darks, and now we're going to go in even darker over here. We're going to mix this color, and we're going to kind of blend in some black or really dark gray or whatever. I'm going to use black. Actually, yeah, I'm going to use some black. And I'm going to go in with a little bit bigger of a brush. All right, so here I'm just going to do it sloppy because I want to add color. And when you know, base paint and glitter, your glitter is going to, you know, if you put blue glitter on black paint, it's going to look different than it does over blue paint. So if I were to put the same color of blue here and here, this blue is going to be darker. That's why we're doing it this way, because it's going to help our ombre kind of blend when we get to that point. And I'm just kind of trying to somewhat go with what I've already got here, the direction. Anyways, it's really not going to matter because we're going to cover it all up. And I'm going to do the bottom because I forgot on the cup I just did, and my glitter is too light. So let's paint this dark. Oops, look at that big old, that's okay. It won't matter. We can actually even go in with a little bit of black down here because on this one, I'll give you a close up and show you. Let I'm going with a little bit of blue here. Sorry, I cannot talk. I'm not very good at talking and operating at the same time. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Add a little bit dark up here in our very top. And let's go in with some of our orange and our black. And just, this does not have to be pretty by any means because it doesn't need to be. Okay, so that's pretty messy painted. So we're gonna go into our moon now. So I better, and of course I don't think I have any other smaller brushes that are clean, so I'm gonna rinse the heck out of this with the water I've got in here and hope for the best. All right, so for inside of the moon, we are going to go in with a lighter color. Now we are going to go ahead and go in with our lighter blue with the smaller brush. And we're just gonna do the same thing we did on the outside. We're just gonna take it and we're just gonna start off by giving ourselves that guide. Okay, you can kind of see my yellow highlighter marks right there. And that is to help me remember not to go completely in there because I want to be able to have that lighter moon glowy look. So we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to add just a little bit of the lighter blue. No rhyme or reason, just put it in there. And then here we're just gonna slop it on in. Just gonna cover up that white so we can put our glitters on top. So that's what we have for now. And we don't really need to go back in with white, but I'm going to just to make sure that my highlighter doesn't show through. So let me get this brush rinsed again because all my brushes are dirty. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in with our light, brighter orange. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. See if I can figure out how I want to hold it. I'm just going to give ourselves that guide for our glitters. And then we get to start doing the fun part. I love glittering. It brings me so much happiness. I know that sounds silly, but it really does. When I feel stressed or, you know, anything like that, if I can just do something detailed with a bunch of glitter, it really, I just love it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm doing the same thing, and whoop, that black smeared big time. Adding a little more down there, and let's go ahead and slop this up in here. Color is not very. Wonder what my dog's barking at. And we're just going to give that a little blend right there. So this is what we have now. So now we're going to go in with our white just to cover up our highlighter lines, which normally they don't show, but with my luck it would on this just because I am using such a light color in that spot, and I really would be pretty pissed off if that fudged everything up for me. So we're just gonna throw some in here. Blend that out down here, and it's okay if that's not completely white because it's going to be reflection. So it's really not a big deal because this is all getting glitter anyways. So it's all going to be covered up. Now, if you were just leaving this paint, you wouldn't do this crappy of a job. And I got a lot of blue in that right there. Okay, good enough. We're going to call this satisfactory for what we're doing. So there we have all of our color. What you want to do now is we are going to start with our darkest glitter. So for the orange side, we're going to go with Brown and Bougie. And for the blue side, we're going to do Deepest Navy. So I am using a fan brush, and I decided to use this one last night because I just kind of felt like I wanted to. I just kind of felt like it would give me a good spread of the glue. So my paint is still really wet, so I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to kind of dab that off of there, so when I put my glue on there, it doesn't, I don't have so much come off. Yeah, my tacket is mixed in the bottle. I wrote on it mix, M-I-X, so that I wouldn't accidentally use it. Okay, so we're just gonna dip it in our glue, and then we're gonna start the same way we did with our paint. We're just gonna pull it out, and you can kind of see how the glue is not going to be solid, I guess. We're gonna have some messy lines and stuff like that, and that's what I'm going for. And if it is solid, more like this up here, it's fine. It's really fine. Don't panic. We're just gonna kind of drag that out so we don't have big clumps of glue. And we're going to avoid this area down here. We're just kind of doing where our dark orange is. So set that to the side. We're going to go in with our Brown and Bougie. Now what we're going to do right here is I'm going to sprinkle it, which I don't do very often. And I am going to just tap it so that my glitter is going to fall right along this line. And I'm going to manipulate my cup so it will, so my glitter is going to fall in the direction I want. But I am not going to spread I'm not going to shake down here. I'm going to stay focused on this line, and I'm going to let my cup make my glitter fall. I hope that makes sense. Let me get a feel for my glitter here. Okay. So I'm holding my cup so it's just barely tilted. And you're gonna probably need to shake it once in a while. So if you can kind of see, my cup is angling up and down. And then now I'm gonna go more towards the side. A little bit side and down, and this is going to, it's not coming out, my bottle's only half full of this. And it's going to, the way we're holding it is making it fan down. See how it's fanning down? That's just gonna make our ombreing easier. Oh gosh, come on, sorry. Y'all gotta watch me finger my bottle for a few minutes. Sometimes you just have to do that to make it work right for you. Okay, so there we have it. You see how it's kind of thick right at our line, but it fans out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in with one more coat and do the same thing, just so that I feel like I have the coverage that I want right along that line. And just let your glitter fall off of it and stay on that line. You don't want to go too far down. And then just shake her. I have some, thank you, honey. Okay, so there's that. So now what I am going to do is I am going to go in with just because, what? No. I am going to go in with just a little bit of Autumn Nights because I am going to use Autumn Nights in here. And so I want to bring that color to the outside, but I want it to be really mild for now. So for now, we are just going to do just a little bit. And I'm sorry if I'm missing comments, guys. I will check here in a minute. I am dumping my Autumn Nights pretty much right on where my line is. And we haven't added any more glue, so it's only going to kind of stick where it wants to, where we have glue. And then I'll give it a little bit of a bang. And it's going to tap it off of that orange or that darker color. And you can see how our base paint is shining through, which is so neat after you get all your layers on, because the sky has different shades in it, you know, of course, you know. I wanted a little bit more up there in the corner. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with my Brown and Bucci, and I am, oh, my kids left my door open. You guys go sit down and watch that movie now. We're going back in with our Brown and Bucci to cover up anything that our orange didn't stick, or our Autumn Nights didn't stick to. And I don't know what's in stock and what's not. I don't know if I'm using past release stuff. I just literally just kept walking around my office and looking for colors. Okay, so that's what we have for now. So let's go ahead and I'll lay that down so you guys can kind of see it for a second. Now we're gonna go into the other side and we're gonna do our blues. And we're doing it that way so that when we go in with our dark color, our black, we're going to be able to blend in both sides at the same time. Okay, let's go ahead and go in with our glue for our blue side. And just kind of fling it out with your brush. Oops, sorry if I was out of frame. And that's a little thick. So I'm going to come in and kind of take some of that out. Just want to make sure I get all the way up to my moon. But oops, crap. Well, we'll fix it. Okay, let's go in with we're going to go in with the deepest navy, I think. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. If I can open it. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go in right along our line. Just tap your bottle with your finger and try to stay on that line. I'm holding it down towards my table while I'm going along the top, and then as I get to the sides, I will hold it more at an angle towards the side. See here, I'm going to go ahead and shift. Not quite yet. So there we have that started. Yes, it will. I really like how it ends up being pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way because it helps me see a little bit better. I'm going to do one more line over here. Tap it off. All right, now let's go ahead and go in with our next color, and I am going to do Home of the Brave. I don't know if this one is still exists or not. But because there is this one, you know what? I'm going to go in with I'm Blue instead because this is a holographic and these are holographic, so I kind of want to stick. I want to stick with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go right over my line again, but I'm going to let it drop a little bit further to kind of finish filling in our area there. So we have that. And now we're going to go ahead and go back in. If you remember before, on the other side, we went back in with our darker color to fill in where our color we just did not stick. Because we did it so lightly because we wanted that to be basically an ombre. We wanted it to be an accent color to blend that out. Okay, so there we have that for now. Now we're going to go ahead and go back in with our glue, and we are going to paint the rest of our cup. So I'm going to use a nasty old brush here, and I am going to just paint the rest of the cup. well, not all of it. We're not going to do inside the moon yet, and we're not going to do our watery area. We're just going to, I'm going to bring it in a little bit down here where my water is dark and kind of fan it out. And I'm going to bring it up into, I'm just going to barely go into my other colors so that we can start blending that. But I'm not going to go in a lot because I don't want to wipe off a bunch of my glitter I already have. So I'm just basically kind of touching it and dragging it out. We're going to use some spray adhesive here soon, and that's going to do most of our major blending. For now, we're just kind of getting our base done. So same thing, I'm just dragging the glue up into my glitter a little bit. All right, so we are going to go in with a super duper light color of After Midnight. I love this color for a black. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dump some out, and I'm going to just pinch it, and I'm gonna do some accent chunks basically, okay? Especially where I have other color that I'm gonna be putting in there, because I don't want a bunch of black to end up in there. And I'm also not gonna do a solid coat of the black, but I do wanna make sure I have some real blotchy spots, I guess you could call them, because the sky has blotchy spots. So we want to have those solid spots where it's not going to have much blending. Okay, we'll go ahead and get the bottom before I forget that. We'll just do that all black. Carefully go around and get the rim along the bottom. A little bit more black right there. Okay. So now that we have this, let me show you up close. See how I just have some random blotchy areas? We're gonna go in and we are just going to lightly, kind of like you would an ombre, and we are just going to sprinkle. Just a little bit. And it's okay if it goes into our blues and our oranges, that's totally fine. We're just gonna lightly sprinkle it in. And the reason we are doing it lightly is because, yes, we want this to be nice and dark because this is our main part of our sky, but we also wanna keep bringing in some of these other colors. Okay, so this is what we have now. My glue is starting to dry, so it's not quite as easy to see as before, but we still have plenty of glue that we can cover. So I'm gonna set this down real quick and put my glitter back in the shaker. All right, so for the next step, we're going to go one shade lighter. We are going to use, let me think here. We are going to use some Jack-o'-lantern, and we are going to use some Honest Blue. I am using these two colors because I want to bring the colors that are going to be major in my moon to some of shading in the background. Oh yeah, Stacy, it'll be here, no worries. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing like I did with the black. I'm gonna go in heavy just on the blue side. I'm gonna go in heavy with just a couple spots of this color. So we have just some, I don't know, whatever. We have some whatever. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the jack-o'-lantern on this side. I'm going to go in with just a couple heavy spots of this color. No rhyme or reason, just to kind of bring in the whole look. Okay, so now that we have those lighter colors in, we're going to go and we're going to come back to our darker colors, which is the I'm Blue and the Autumn Nights. So our Autumn Nights is further out here. Oh shoot, no. Our Brown and Bougie, because we're gonna go, we want this dark out here. And so we'll do Brown and Bougie, Autumn Nights on this side, and we're going to do our Deepest Navy and I'm Blue on this side to finish filling in the spots that don't have any glitter on them yet. I'm just going to let all of my glitter kind of mix at this point because I'm not going to be using that much. So I'm going to go about a foot above my cup and I'm just going to let my glitter fall. And I'm kind of aiming for my dark color to go into this lighter color to start kind of blending them into the black. And then I'm going to go down into my black. And it's going to somewhat cover up. Once I get to the middle, I'm going to kind of stop. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here with my blue. And I'm going to go in with my darker blue. Jeez, I'm getting too much glitter over here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start over in here. And I'm just going to kind of go way above so that it just kind of falls. And then once I get to the middle, I'm going to stop. Flip this off of here. Now we're going to go back in with our lighter shade, which is our I'm Blue and our Autumn Nights, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go high, and we're just basically kind of giving it a little bit of a blend here. But it's still keeping it super, super dark in the background. And the higher you go, the further your glitter can fall and the more it's going to blend. All right, so here is what we have so far. So it all just kind of meets in the middle. So we are going to go in with our After Midnight one more time just to make sure we don't have any. This area right here is a little bit too bright for me. I don't think I love it, so I'm going to go a little heavy in that spot just to see if I can kind of hide that a little bit better. Nope, it's stuck, but that's okay. We'll fix it when we go in with our spray. So I'm just covering everything except for where our line got lighter next to our moon. We have really dark and then it starts to get lighter. I don't want to go in that lighter part with my black, so I'm just trying to basically concentrate on basically just the back side where our sky is night and not lit up from the moon. All right, I'm gonna give it a good bang. And I'm gonna set it down for just a second. And then we're going to start going in to the front part of our moon, but I have so much glitter right here, I gotta wipe this up real quick because I don't want these dark colors to get into my light colored moon. Okay, so the same kind of concept we're gonna do for the inside of our moon. We're going to start with our dark and we're going to work our way in towards our light. Get another piece of paper here. Okay. We're going to grab our glue and I am just going to do it like we did the outside. Just going to go along the edge and pull it in. Hi Erin, how are you? And where it's the white there, I really don't want to pull it out into that, so I'm not gonna. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do down here. I don't know how much glue I'm actually getting on there. That we're gonna have to do some fixing there anyways. Okay, so for the inside of our moon, we are going to start with Dusk Sun. Super, super pretty color. And I think I started with, I went Autumn Nights on this other one. Whoa, dude, this wants to come out fast on me. So we're doing the same thing. We're just gonna go right along our line and hold it at an angle so it drops kind of naturally on the glue that we have down. Okay, so there's that. Now we still have our glue came out a little bit. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna go ahead and pull in some of this Autumn Nights. Now we're gonna do this super, 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 super light. So I'm not going to use my shaker, I'm gonna use my fingers because I like to be able to control it a little bit better. So, yeah. And now I wanna use a mix of the two. We're just gonna let it fall to where the rest of that is got some glue down. So there's that so far. Now I'm gonna save that. So I'm gonna put it in a little container here. Okay, and we're gonna go in and let's go ahead and go to our other side, the blue, and we'll get our darker blue in before we go on to our light. Pull that glue in just a little bit. We're gonna leave that little space there, and of course our white. Oh, I forgot to do down there. So we'll have to do that real quick. I'm just gonna go in with this mixed color we did down here for now. Some might be discontinued. I will try to go, I don't know if I'll have time to do it tonight. I will go through and if it is discontinued or no longer available, I will give you the next best thing. But it may be tomorrow before I get that done. Okay, so for our moon, we are going to go in with, oh man, I don't want to run into the same problem I had last night. I need to get a different color. I'll be right back, hold on. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go in with Lovely Lagoon because it's a holographic and we got some holographic going on. Just a little bit in there. What am I thinking here? Okay, I got too many colors. She said, what? Okay, we're gonna go in with Blue Raz first. And I'm gonna do this super, super, you know what, I'm gonna mix it because I wanna, yeah, I'm gonna mix it. Because I just don't have the exact color I want. So I'm gonna make my own. Whoops, that's probably a little too much. Do a little of that, a little of this, and a little bit of the I'm Blue. Because I do want to titch, whoa, shoot, that was a lot. We'll see what we have. A little tiny more blue raz, I think. Whoop. Clearly I'm having a heavy pour feeling tonight. Okay, I think that'll be all right. We're just gonna go in right along that line and we're gonna let it just fall. Oops, I got too far off my line up there at the top. There it fell. Okay, now let's go ahead and go in with our I'm Blue, our second shade on the outside. We're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna sprinkle high and go light, just to kind of bring those colors together. Plus we want the different shades because the moon is not one shade. Okay, so we're out of glue there. So we're gonna go ahead and put on some more adhesive. Let me think. We'll go ahead and keep using this one. Oh, I forgot to do the bottom again, didn't I? Sorry if I'm missing comments, guys. I kind of get in my zone and sometimes I forget that y'all are talking to me. Okay. Okay. Let's put some more glue there. And we are going to go in with some... Now this one is a super fine glitter. So we're going to do a little bit of... Let me think. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle it out of the thing. And we're gonna blend this all together more once we use our spray adhesive here in a minute. Because the spray adhesive is used more for the blending in the moon than it really was for the outside, because back here we're pretty decent. So that's the easy part, because it's so easy to just keep adding those dark colors. Oh, you're welcome, Rita. Thank you for that. It's my pleasure. I enjoy it. All right, we'll go in this side. And how did I do that? I cut myself short. Where is... Let me grab one more color. Okay, we're gonna try some of this. As good as it gets. I didn't want to go quite as light as I had there ready for me, because that's more for like my center. So we'll try this. It's all really going to come together once we blend. So even if I don't like it, that's okay. But I figured with that base color being under there, it'll work out all right. Okay, so here is what we have for now. It's pretty ugly, isn't it? But that's okay. It won't be, I promise. All right, let's go in and let's do this center, where our whites are gonna go. And it doesn't matter if it's sloppy or not. I mean, you don't want to get too much of your color all up in there, but a little bit ain't gonna hurt nobody. And we're gonna go in with some Moon Mist. I have no idea if this color is still available, but it's super pretty. And we're just gonna drop that in on our, I'm shooting for this edge right here and just kind of letting it fall. And same thing over here. I'll just kind of shoot for going right on top of my other color and letting it fall. Okay, next one we're going with the Pastel Paradise Blueberry Blast. And same thing here, I'm going along my edge here, and I'm just letting it fall towards the middle so those two colors can just kind of mix on their own. And that is what we have for now. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take some spray adhesive. I am using Krylon. I am going to duck out my window so everybody in the house cannot, it's taken me a few years, Debbie.
Applesauce
And applesauce, and that's it. Okay, sorry kids. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and spray this. I'm just shooting for mainly the moon and mainly down here, okay? So we're basically going to not worry about this part back here right this minute. We're just gonna focus on the front. So let me step out and I will be right back. Okay. All right, so once you get to this point, you want to be really careful because your glue has now sprayed all over the frickin' place. So you don't want to accidentally dump it in areas it doesn't want to go. So because of that reason, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go lighter to darker. I'm going to hold my light color and I'm going to do it above my stuff here. And I'm just, I don't know, like 6 inches or so. And I'm going above and beyond where I was. So I'm trying to keep my blue just over on my blue side. And then we're going to come in with our super light yellow and we're going to sprinkle it high and let that just fall over on the yellow side. And I know my glitters are mixing and that's okay. And then I'm going to try to dump it and not get it everywhere. All right. We're going to go in with our Dusk Sun on this side and our jack-o'-lantern. So for this, if I can get myself to work here, I'm going to use my fingers once again because I have better control. Hi, Tina. And I'm going to just drop it. I'm kind of aiming for this lighter, darker color. And I am just going to ever slow, lightly sprinkle that around. And same thing with at the bottom. Okay, now we're going to go in with a little bit of our jack-o'-lantern and I'm going to put that on a different piece of paper over here. It's all stapled together. Get this out of the way so y'all can see. Okay, so here's our jack-o'-lantern. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm just generally sprinkling it so that it kind of, but I'm doing it very mildly so it kind of all starts to blend. And now we're ready to move on to our blue before our adhesive dries. And it stays tack. I have an extended tack, so it does stay tacky for a little while. Okay, we're gonna go in with our mix here. Oh, did I go in with my light blue? I think I did, but just in case I didn't, let's go ahead and do a little bit of that. Okay, I'm gonna kind of focus on this dark line right here because I want to make sure that I have decent blending there because that's a pretty harsh transition there. So we're gonna do our best to try to hide that a bit. It's a little too harsh. And use your cup, tilt it to help you manipulate where your colors are gonna go. So that's looking a little bit better already. But that is still, I'm still not happy with that. So let's try a little bit of this. I need like a 10 by 10 foot space for all the glitter. We don't want to get too much into where our white is, so I do need to stay mindful of that. A little bit's not going to hurt nothing, but we definitely don't want it to be too much. And I'm going into my other color too, because we want that to blend a little bit, but it's not going to make a huge difference because our tree is going to cover a lot of it. So this is where we are now. This still bothers me like a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one more layer of spray adhesive, and we're gonna play with that just a hair more. So please excuse me while I go spray. Here, look at some glitter caps. I'm just spraying out my window, so it's not like I have to leave y'all hanging for too long. Just momentarily. Okay, I think I want to go in with a little bit of this Honest Blue. It is such a pretty blue. It is a little on the darker side, so I'm gonna go in super light, but I mean, look at that blue, holy shit. And I think that's really gonna kind of bring it to life. Should have poured myself a little bit better of a pile. My nails aren't letting me grab it very well. All right, and our Blueberry Blast here in the middle. And I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle that high and let it fall into my dark. And then we'll tap some off. We'll go in with a little bit more of our orange here, our Autumn Nights. That's not Autumn Nights. I don't have an Autumn Nights. Because I want to bring in just a little bit more of that orange color into our moon. No, they are not all holographic. I'm using, a couple of them are, but definitely not all. That would be really cool to kind of do though. Do them all holographic. That would be really pretty. Okay, now I'm going to go back in over the top of that with my more yellow color. And then with our super light color yellow. God, I hope I'm not out frame a ton for you guys. If I am, I'm sorry. I'm in my groove. And we're just gonna sprinkle that shit all over it. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this because now keep in mind, our tree covers up a lot of that. See how much that tree covers up? So you still want the color variations you have between the trees and the branches and whatnot, but it all still blends, but it gives it that illusion. So I'm leaving it at this. Get that all tapped off. And I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna do just a little, and I probably have some overspray on here that is going to do what I need it to do. Let me grab So I'm gonna go in with my brown and bougie and go super high and get just basically where my overspray could have, sprayed. And then the same thing on with my blue here. I don't remember what color I used. Deepest blue and what? Something. I don't remember. Oh well, we'll go in with our deepest blue again. And I don't think I have any spray on the back, but in case I do, we'll sprinkle just a little bit more black straight down the middle and over into closer to our moon to darken that just a little bit. That blue's dark enough. Maybe a hair more on this side. Just a titch. Now I'm just getting fussy and I need to leave it alone. But I say this and then I keep going. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so this is it. So now what you would do is you would seal with whatever you seal your glitter with. I typically use Rust-Oleum 2 times. I prefer gloss, but they were out, so I had to get matte. So yeah, I spray the heck, like 4 layers I will spray on this, and then I will epoxy.
For this last part, I have mixed some black dye into my epoxy, and I am just putting a few strands of it on with a popsicle stick, just kind of a random pattern, so we can get some cloudy look in the bottom of this for our water effect. I just put on some until I'm happy with it, and then I hit it with some heat to kind of spread those lines and get them to spread out a little bit more. You want to be really careful when you do this and not add too much. It's easier to add than it is to take away. Once that's finished, I have some white alcohol ink in with my epoxy in this next one, and I'm just dipping my finger into it. I tried to make it somewhat opaque, not real dark. I didn't use very much ink because I wanted to try to get some scattered cloud effects throughout the back of it. So I just dipped my finger in there and just kept blotching it until I kind of had it spread out. I did let the epoxy spin on this cup for probably 20 minutes or so, and my epoxy did sit in my cup for about 10-15 minutes, so there's not going to be a lot of movement. So I wanted to make sure that I had the clouds blended out as much as possible, because I wasn't, there's not going to be any more movement from the epoxy while the cup's turning. Once we're satisfied with the way that all looks, we are going to go ahead and print our water slides and spray them. I use Plasti-Dip Clear, 1 heavy coat, and then I go in with a clear gloss from Rust-Oleum, and I do another heavy coat, let those completely dry, and then I just put it into my water. I use Senecopia, I think that's how you say it. This stuff, I love this water slide. It works really well for me. I just dip it in some lukewarm water, not very long, 30 seconds maybe, and then I will slide it off of my water slide onto my cup, or even do the whole flip it upside down thing. But for this one, I'm doing it a little bit differently just because that's what I was feeling. So get your cup a little bit wet, and then I just peeled my water slide off and put it on where I wanted it, adjusted it till I was happy. And then you're going to go in with your silicone brush, smooth out all of the water slide, make sure all of the bubbles come out, any water trapped in there comes out, your edges are all nice and flat. Once I'm done squeegeeing with my silicone brush, I like to go in with a very lightly damp paper towel and just make sure that I've got my edges nice and sealed and I don't have any more air bubbles, and just kind of make sure I have everything nice and adhered as much as possible. Once we're done with that part, we're going to do the same steps with our grassy area. Go ahead and put it in your water and then apply it to the cup. When you're getting ready to apply this to the cup, the way I designed this was I have the dark on the top and then the shadow on the bottom for the water area. You want to make sure that your grass lines up with your seam on your trees. As you can see, I kind of trimmed my water slide down right there in the middle a little bit. I knew that was going to go up over, and I didn't want my water slides to show because of doing 2 layers. So I kind of cut out that little center a little bit so that I didn't have my water slide overlapping a ton where it was going over the other one. And we're going to do the same process as we did with the last one and squeegee out all of our water. Go in with our paper towel, squeeze all of that out, and do it until you're done all the way around the cup. And then once you're finished with that, you'll just go in with your epoxy. The back of it, depending on what size you're doing, you may need to trim it like I did here. So I go ahead and overlap it, and then I just take an X-Acto knife and I cut right where the seam will be. And then I finish rubbing with a damp towel, and then once that is all dry, I go in with epoxy to finish off the cup, and that's all there is to it.